Welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I am going to do a flip through or a fold through and review of the Horror on Tau Sigma 7. This is a pamphlet module for Mothership. It was written by D.G. Chapman, layout by Eric K. Hill, art by Vil, and edited by Dave Kenny. It was produced by Magnum Galaxy Games, and it is really fun. I ran this for my party last weekend. I love how the kind of in-world fiction. So this adventure is a prequel to the Dying Hard on Hardlight Station adventure by Magnum Galaxy Games, written by David Kenny. So the Nakatomi Solutions kind of company and fiction are all in there. There's also another book called I think it's Nakatomi Decrypted or something, and it's like a whole lore book just about this whole kind of in-universe stuff. It's really, really cool. The hazard level is 2, so this is kind of how you determine in Mothership what an adventure is worth. In terms of pay, geology is unstable, biology unconfirmed, rare metal deposit, key type NM109 detected, and request ground team. And then, the corporate accountability waiver. Really funny stuff. So you then open up the module, and actually kind of on the inside here, when you first open it, you're going to find some of the key concepts that you'll want to know about in this adventure. Lifeblood is an important component. The aliens and how they work is described here. The immune response, so the cavern that they are going into is kind of technically a creature. And so the party will kind of activate the creature's defenses as they do things, and that's described here. Now, if the level ever reaches 7, that's the immune response max level, the whole place fills with lifeblood, drowning everyone underground. And then bioplastic artifacts. These are some of the artifacts that the party can find in the adventure. The immune response telegraphs what's going on through cave paintings. This was super creepy, actually. This worked really, really well in my playthrough of this. Another thing that's kind of worth noting is you may actually want to read the back first, like just to get the drop site kind of sorted out, because it's on the back, which is a little bit strange. I think I do this too with my pamphlets, where like I put the critical information on the back. I did not see this. I didn't think about this when I was running it, so I did things slightly different in my playthrough. But this is really good information. And then the cave painting information is here, and this is like, as you know, things like as you're moving through the different immune response levels. These are how the cave paintings are reflecting that. And then we get into the locations proper. Now, the map art is beautiful, but unfortunately a little unclear. So one of the things I've seen online a few times, and I also kind of struggled with getting my head around, is how does the cavern, the tunnels, and the antechamber kind of relate to each other as a space? So you're coming from the drop site, and you go to where the cavern is. So you kind of find this cavern area, and then there's tunnels above it, so you can kind of climb up into those tunnels. And then somewhere in those tunnels you will find an antechamber. The antechamber is a little bit interesting because it has there is a thing inside to access lifeblood through like this weird black bioplastic nozzle that will extend with you. Is actually like a key to getting in. But because the only way in and out of the small room is a hole in the upper cavern, I think... Oh, did I read this wrong? It's so interesting. It's possible I totally read this wrong, that the actual hole is, like, kind of too small. But yeah, now that I'm reading it... Yeah. They absolutely could have climbed in there. Interesting. Yeah, so if they don't manage to get the lifeblood out of this thing, in the cavern, there's a dome that is like the the trap door into the dungeon, and my party damaged the trapdoor. They ripped it off to get down there. Also, one of them totally shoved their fist into the hole where the nozzle goes and got chewed up by the thing. Now, none of what happens when that occurs, like if somebody does something like that, it's really unclear here how to do that, like how to deal with that. Luckily, Mothership's mechanics are pretty flexible for GM interpretation. You can kind of do what you want. I also found one thing a little unclear is like, what is the habitat? Like, what is the environment outside? And I just took it to be that you're in space. You need a vac suit to be in space. And so putting your fist into the hole caused the spines to like kind of pierce the vac suit, which caused a depressurization event. It was a whole shenanigan just to get into the place. The shaft is nice and creepy. This is the first place they're going to hit the cave paintings. It descends for a while, and then they get down into the chamber, where there's some evidence of something moving through. So there's like stains of the lifeblood. The lab itself is... So there's basically a stain-like thing running from the lab, I think, to the hatchery, if I remember correctly. And basically inside the lab is one of these aliens. They're little, like, foot-long kind of squids. And then in the hatchery, you've got these tanks of lifeblood kind of in the walls that contain these. And one of them is broken. So that's the telegraph that this is what's going on. And if the party finds the alien in here, in the hatchery, they're kind of eating some human skeletons that are in a cage. And there's a large dead human kind of in a blood tank, like a lifeblood tank. Really, really creepy, very fun. My party was totally freaked out the whole time and played it super cautious. Having the cave paintings change as the party was moving through and activating things, like that attacked the aliens, which meant the immune response rose. So the next person who saw a cave painting was like, whoa, that's not the same as it was. That caused a sanity roll. So really, really cool stuff there. The kind of payoff for this adventure is the cache, like in a positive sense. So like, my party found this. They got through the maw and the mess without killing anything or really getting into too much trouble. And they ended up finding the cache and getting the NM-109 that's stored there and getting it back out all without dying. They did not solve the mystery, but they did complete their mission, which was pretty cool. And yeah, that's the horror on Tau Sigma 7. It was a great 2-hour romp, and I'm very much looking forward to taking them to Hardlight Station to collect their pay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I will be continuing to do flip-through review videos as I am able. Also, check out my series on the Tome of Adventure Design. I'm going to try and do a lot more like how to use random generators, or kind of how I use random generators type videos. And yeah, if you want to support Watcher DM, you can go to watcherdm.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter. And yeah, we've got blog posts like twice a week from Austin Holm and all kinds of stuff like that. So I hope you are enjoying it, and I hope I will see you around. Thank you so much for playing.